Y'all, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you and warn you, be prepared to get irate after I tell you about this unbelievable and horrible story. So in Missouri, on Friday, May 16th, a 3-year-old little boy named Conrad Ashcraft, pictured here, died at Poppy's Playhouse Daycare, which is in Park Hills. It has left the people all over the world outraged, and rightfully so. Reportedly, Conrad was nonverbal and autistic. On Friday at around 4:15, Tara Williams, who is Conrad's mother, arrived to the daycare to pick up her son as she normally would. When she got there, daycare staff told her that the little boy was still asleep from his midday nap. She then rushed over and found him on a floor near a bathroom. He was covered with a weighted blanket and he was in the prone position. When she went to wake him up and roll him over, it was said he was already stiff and cold to the touch. He was not breathing. Also, it was said his arms and face had already turned a dark purplish color, so that means he had been deceased for several hours. His mom, Tara, started to scream, and so did the staff. It was said that everybody was screaming and crying. Someone then ran over to another building where the daycare director/owner was. Her name is Spring Gray. Spring then instructed that employee to call 911, and she then began life-saving efforts using an automated external defibrillator. It was said that EMS and police got to the scene of the daycare within minutes, and they rushed over to see what was going on. Then a paramedic ran out of the building with the little boy in his arms, and the child was immediately put into an ambulance, but it was too late. Tara, the mom, reportedly then called family members who lived close by to the daycare, and they got there quickly to be with Tara. According to reports, a family member said that they overheard parts of a conversation between a law enforcement officer and a daycare employee. The officer reportedly asked the employee how marks or impressions got on the boy's lower body. The staff member then claimed that the child didn't want to take his midday nap, so they covered him with a weighted blanket, and they held him on the floor with their legs on top of him until he was still. Unreal. According to parents whose children attend this daycare, that's a pretty common practice at the daycare, but it's most often done by a specific staff member, allegedly. It was said children who were around Conrad that day were asked about the situation, and they said he got in trouble for not taking a nap. Then they said that the daycare employee either sat on Conrad or held him down with her legs, and that was because he would not sleep and take his nap. Reportedly, daycare staff assumed that the child was asleep on the floor for 3 or 4 hours, and that was until the mom arrived and found him unresponsive and deceased. Other kids were said to be around him during this supposed hours-long nap, and they all later witnessed their little friend being carried away in an ambulance. There are now many unanswered questions surrounding Conrad's death. In the aftermath of all of this, information and abuse allegations of children at this daycare have surfaced. Now, I can't confirm whether those are true or not. People are now questioning the daycare's policies and procedures. An autopsy is indeed being done to determine the little boy's exact cause of death, and police have started an investigation. Other higher-up state agencies are also said to be investigating as well. Now, according to reports, this daycare owner has sent out 2 communications to parents since the incident. The first one was reportedly sent Friday night, and it reportedly said, "I'm sure a lot of you have seen on social media that there has been a medical emergency at Poppy's Playhouse 2 at the preschool building. At this time, we can't go into further details, but trust that my staff and I took all protocol measures. We will remain closed until further notice. As soon as I'm able to get more information, I will do that." So no mention of a child dying, just playing it down, a medical emergency. No prayers for the family, nothing. Instead, it sounded like she was more worried about covering her ass, in my opinion. The second message was reportedly said, "I apologize for not getting a message to all my parents sooner. With the events that took place yesterday, I'm just beside myself, and I haven't been able to think clearly." Why is she trying to play victim here? What about that child's family? She then said, "As you know, a medical emergency occurred yesterday at our preschool location in Park Hills and resulted in this tragic outcome." Still no mention of a child's death. "Please trust that myself and my staff followed protocol and immediately took action to do everything we could." No, you didn't. You didn't even know the child was deceased until the mother came to pick him up, and she found him. This is absolutely unreal. It is absolutely horrible. Bad enough that a child died at this daycare, but how the owner is handling this and what she is saying is disgusting. I see a lawsuit and a shutdown for this sick place in the future. My prayers go out to that entire community and all of this precious little boy's loved ones. I hope somebody is arrested for this, and quickly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and for more content, be sure to follow and subscribe over on YouTube.